Hi everybody, it's Richard and I'm back for another video, and today I'm back to talk about somebody who I used to really like. I actually love this person, and I had a lot of respect for this person, and now I don't have any respect for them at all, and I don't like them anymore. And that is Oprah Winfrey. Why? It wasn't bad enough that she went after Michael Jackson, in that fake mockumentary that I'm not even going to mention the name of it. And then in 1993, I didn't even know about the Oprah. I didn't actually see the infamous Michael Jackson interview from '93 with her until a couple years ago. I mean, it wasn't bad enough when she did that interview. When she asked Michael Jackson if he was a virgin, and every time I see that clip, I still cringe. You can see how uncomfortable Michael is, and the look on Michael's face, and how just uncomfortable he is. And he can't believe she actually asked him that. And then she was part of the fake mockumentary, and I think it was 2019, which I'm not even gonna say the name of that. Now she's talking about Whitney Houston. Why? Why are you doing this to Whitney? Whitney's been dead for almost 15 years now. Why? What difference does this make? I don't understand this. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Oprah was doing an interview for something. I don't even know what she was doing an interview for recently. And she was talking about, Whitney Houston came up, and she apparently said that when Whitney performed on her show, the last time she was on her show, the last interview that Oprah ever did with Whitney, Whitney was high. And apparently, she fell down when she was performing, and then she had to start over again. And Oprah says that she begged the audience not to take any pictures, not to say anything. And apparently, when it happened, Whitney claimed that it was really dark and she really couldn't see where she was going. My first thought is, who cares? Why are you talking about this? What difference does it make? Like I said, she's been dead for almost 15 years. I love Whitney Houston. I'm not going to say anything bad about Whitney Houston. We all know that Whitney Houston struggled with drugs and she had addiction issues. I love Whitney. I think she was a good person. She had issues. Everybody has issues. I think she is one of the greatest female singers who ever lived. I think her voice is just incredible. I love Whitney's voice. But I just don't understand this. Why are you doing this now? Why are you going after Whitney Houston, somebody who's been dead for almost 15 years? And what the hell difference does it make now if Whitney was high in that interview you did with her in 2009? That was almost 20 years ago. Why are you talking about this now, Oprah? I just don't understand. Anyway, I'm going to play what Oprah said. And, Whitney's estate is denying that Whitney was high during this interview and denying what Oprah said. Now, I don't know. Whitney may have been high during this interview, but again, what difference does it make? She's not here to defend herself. She's been dead for almost 15 years. Why are you... And the timing for this is so weird. Why are you doing this?
Lock in with deals on all your game day snacks and groceries. Store game day deals. For a
Sorry,
limited time.
YouTube advertisement. I hate YouTube
If you're a tool
advertisement.
person looking for high quality, affordable tools, we know where to find them.
A Whitney Houston that she kept hidden for nearly... Let's turn to Oprah and the bombshell about Whitney Houston that she kept hidden for nearly 17 years.
I was interviewing Whitney Houston.
17 years. She kept this quiet for 17 years. Why is she saying anything about this now? Let the poor woman rest in peace.
I think it was her last show with us, and she had gone back on drugs.
You're drug free?
Yes, ma'am. No weed, no coke, no.
Do you think you ever will again? Be tempted?
But I can only take today, one day at a time. Right now, no.
The first interview I did with her, she was clean. But the day she came to my show then to perform in front of the audience, she was not. And she fell off of the stage.
That unforgettable 2009 interview took place nearly 2.5 years before Whitney's tragic drowning. It was shot over...
Yeah, this took place 2.5 years before Whitney passed away. But I just don't get why. I mean, why are you saying this? It doesn't matter. It makes no difference. I think Oprah's kind of just like not very popular anymore. And I think she's just trying to say anything she can to stay relevant and stay in the spotlight. Is her network even still in existence? The OWN network? I know she started her network after her show went off the air, the OWN network. I don't even know if that's still on. I just think she's trying to latch on to anybody she can to stay relevant, stay in the spotlight. I'm really irritated by this. Like I said, I love Whitney Houston. I think Whitney was a good person. Like I said, she had trouble, but everybody has trouble. And I think she is one of the greatest female singers who ever lived and will ever live. And I just don't understand. I'm frankly pissed off why Oprah's bringing this up now.
Days and spanned 2 cities. First New York.
Your drug of choice was weed combined with cocaine.
Cocaine, rock cocaine.
With rock cocaine.
Yes.
Then Chicago.
I am at that point in my life, I have no regrets.
While accepting the Cannes Lionheart Award, Oprah now says she tried to protect the singer by covering up her relapse.
Okay, she was accepting award. First of all, what the hell does this even have to do with this award she's accepting? That's another thing. Why? This is such a random thing to be talking about when you're accepting an award and doing an interview for an award. Why are you talking about Whitney Houston being on drugs when you're accepting an award?
If that story got out that she'd fallen off the stage, then she would be destroyed by that. And so even though the audience had cameras, I begged them not to put those pictures out because it would ruin her life, and they did not.
I spoke to Oprah in Chicago.
And apparently none of them did, so why are you talking about it now? Even my mother said, why is she bringing this up now? And if she knew that Whitney was high and she was on drugs, why didn't she try and get Whitney help? I mean, I just don't understand this. I mean, I just am puzzled by Oprah anymore. Like I said, I used to be a huge fan of her. I used to love this woman. Now I don't. I think after I watched that interview, that 93 interview with Michael, is when I changed my mind about Oprah. I mean, like I said, when she asked Michael if he was a virgin, you could see the look on his face, like, why are you asking me about this? You could see how uncomfortable he was, and the expression on his face just changed. Why are you asking a person if they're a virgin in an interview? Like, nobody gives, I'm not going to swear, nobody gives nobody gives a shit whether Michael Jackson was a virgin or not. We don't care. His friends don't care. And he wasn't a virgin, but even if he was, who cares? And now, who cares if Whitney Houston was high in this interview almost 20 years ago? Why are you talking about this? It makes absolutely no sense. The timing of this makes no sense to me. I don't understand it. I think she's just trying to stay relevant. I think she's losing popularity. I think over the last couple of years, I've noticed she's not as popular as she used to be. And I think she's just trying to say anything she can to stay relevant. I just don't understand it, and frankly, I'm annoyed. So, let me know what you think in the comments. I just don't get it. And actually, no. Whitney's sister actually responded. I want to see what she said. Whitney's sister actually responded to this yesterday, I think it was. I want to play a little bit because I want to see what she said.
Some call it being neighborly. We call it.
So, yeah, Whitney's sister, I don't know if Whitney's sister is in charge of her estate or not, but she did respond yesterday. So let's hear what Whitney's sister said.
What went through your mind when you heard Oprah's comments?
The first interview I did with her, she was clean. But the day she came to my show then to perform, she was not. and she fell off of the stage.
When I watched it, I was totally surprised. And, you know, my response, it didn't have anything to do with anger or outrage with Oprah, because I know for a fact on that day that Whitney was not high.
What do you remember about Whitney that day when you saw her and you looked into her eyes?
That was a very meaningful moment for her in the history of knowing Whitney for over 30 some odd years. Of course, she had abused drugs and everything, but for her craft, Whitney never showed up on stage high.
That's one thing. Yeah, I will agree with that. I forgot to say that too. As much as Whitney had a problem with drugs, had issues with drugs, as far as I know anyway, she never performed high, or if she was high, she always gave the audience what they paid for. You were always going to get a good show if you went to see Whitney. As far as I know, she never did. Maybe the last couple years of her life, but I'm not even going to count that. As far as I know, Whitney never performed high, or if she did, she pulled it off. She always gave the audience their money's worth. She always gave them what they paid for. She always put on an amazing performance. So, as far as I know, Whitney never performed high, and if she did, she always made sure she pulled it off. So that's another thing. Pat Houston is right about that. I want to point that out.
In the room, you know, if she were high, and for a statement to be made like that, it was extremely disappointing. And
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. I'm angry about this.
For Oprah, I have to protect her legacy. You know, if it were true, I would admit it being true.
What Pat does admit, Whitney did fall off the stage during rehearsals.
She missed her step.
I mean, people have fallen before. Paul McCartney has actually fallen a few times. I think Billy Joel fell once. I mean, that does happen occasionally.
Off stage. And of course, Oprah was very gracious, and she immediately, you know, addressed the audience.
The audience had cameras. I begged them not to put those pictures out because it would ruin her life.
She was adamant about it. No one will hear about this. You will not disrespect her, and she was so adamant and gracious.
What would you say to Oprah today?
Sister to sister, what happened? Because we both know that it did not happen. I certainly would just want to ask the question, why? But it's not something, like it wouldn't be anything confrontational, because I know that Whitney really, you know, trusted her, and so did I.
I agree with Pat Houston. I just don't understand this. I don't understand why she's talking about this. Where she is talking about this at, I don't understand why she's talking about this when she's accepting an award, doing an interview. I just don't get this. Oprah's just become weird over the last couple years. I just don't get it. That's just my opinion. I don't think there was any reason to bring this up. I don't understand why she's talking about this. I think this is totally disrespectful to the late great Whitney Houston, and it just irritates me. Let me know what you think in the comments. If this is your first time over here, please hit the like and subscribe button, and please hit the notification bell so you'll always be notified when I do a new video or a live stream. Until next time, remember, peace and love. Peace and love is the only way.